I'm Karishnoor, and this is Resistol's Beneath the Brim, presented by Choctaw. And on this week's episode, we're sharing the South Point story, one of the largest casinos in Las Vegas, Nevada, with the most iconic equestrian center. And guess what? We get to chat with the man who started it all.
My name is Steve Stalworth. I'm the general manager of the South Point Arena and Equestrian Center here at the South Point Hotel Casino. So I got to UNLV in Las Vegas in 1982. I played football here at UNLV, and Mr. Gahn was the most loyal supporter ever of UNLV and this community. And then when I started at the Thomas Mack Center in 1990, I got to know him even better. I used to sell him game program ads even. When I first started in the industry. So I just got to know him over the years, and then one day he called and he said he wanted to build an arena at the Orleans Hotel and Casino. And I said, sir, we need another arena in this town like we need a hole in our head. He goes, no, I'm going to do it different. We're going to do free parking, $2 beers, $1 hot dogs. And when I heard that, I said, I'm in. I went to work for Mr. Gahn in 2001. We opened our arena in 2003 at the Orleans with Brooks and Dunn. We had the Orleans Arena going. We had Disney on Ice, the circus. We had a minor league hockey team, arena football. I mean, you name it. We had all the local events in the city. And he came to me one day and he said, Steve, he goes, I want to build an equestrian center at my new hotel. I said, sir, I don't even know what that means. And we called every equestrian center in America. We called every association, every promoter that we could think of in the U.S., and almost all of them said, bad idea. For what you guys want to do in Vegas, the size and the scope, it's not going to work. You're too far from the central part of America. There are way too many distractions in Vegas. It's way too hot. These shows aren't coming to Vegas. So, of course, I went back and reported this to Mr. Gahn, and he says, well, we're going to do it anyway, so you guys better figure it out. He and Paula, his wife, and I credit her as much as him, had an incredible vision to not only create something that would help their hotel property, but something that helps our entire city. This is an industry that never existed in Las Vegas. This is a business model that was never here. It's almost like bringing an NFL franchise to Las Vegas or another major league team, because we're bringing customers and visitors to Vegas that otherwise would have no reason to come here. I had this vision that we were just going to come in here and bring these events in and have them up and going in 90 days. Well, that's not how the game works. I fell back into my comfort zone, and we started doing concerts and family shows and motorsports events and all those kind of things. Our first year, we actually filled our arena up with 660,000 gallons of water and had jet ski races. To this day, Michael Gahn still thinks we're crazy for doing that. But again, we were just trying to get it going, right? We were trying to get action going. You know, the other thing that I really want to lay credit towards is just having great partners. You know, we made a philosophical decision early that we're only going to deal with A players. We're only going to deal with A sponsors. Our first sponsor was Resistol. They got it. They understood it. They understood Michael Gahn. They knew what he was all about, his passion, and they knew that he would be successful here. And not every sponsor got that. In fact, there's a lot of big ones that turned us down. They didn't believe in what we were doing. Funny, the first year that I was here, I would look in the mirror, I'd put on that Resistol and jeans and boots, and I'm like, who are you? What are you doing? Who is this guy? After a couple years of that, Mr. Gahn came to me and he says, don't forget about my little horsies. And I knew what he meant right then. He was saying, Steve, forget about all this stuff. Focus on what we built this for. It has been such a privilege and a pleasure to deal with people in this industry. You know, I'm not dealing with concert promoters and rap artists and all this kind of stuff. We're dealing with good people, good Americans, good patriots. When they pull into that barn after a 12-hour drive here, they don't want a grumpy barn manager greeting them, you know. We have to wake up every day knowing that these people have saved up all year long to come to Vegas, and we need to treat them like that. There is no question that Paula Gahn was my go-to early on, no question about it. Paula understood the business, she understood the industry. She knew all the players. She knew the good ones. She knew the bad ones. Once we kind of got going, when Ryan Growney started as our general manager here at the South Point, we took off. Ryan loves this industry as much as Mr. Gahn. He has a passion for it. He worked in the rodeo industry as a kid. He has so many friends all across every spectrum of this world that when Ryan got here, I went, all right, game on.
Ryan, you have been here for 14 years. You've seen a lot over your time. There's some great stories because you guys do nothing small around here. You do it big, you do it well, and you go all in. Speaking of that, we're in the C Saloon. We've got some great iconic pictures behind us. I mean, kind of just walk us through and some of the crazy things that have happened over the years.
We've had so many fun things happen, so many great people show up, so many special guests, so many VIPs, but maybe our favorite, if not top three, are our friends Budweiser Clydesdale Hitch. It's a Super Bowl team, so when you're watching the Super Bowl and you see the horses and the Dalmatian in a commercial, they come and they stay here throughout the year. As they're traveling across the West Coast, if they have a couple weeks off, they come and lay up here. And when they do, they're kind enough to let us have a little bit of fun. So we came up with an idea one time. We're going to bring them in and let them bet a hand of blackjack. We bring the horse in, we bring the dog in, we pre-stage the cards. And then you can see him looking. There's a handler behind the dealer, and he's got a hot dog in his hand. And when the hot dog goes up, that dog would reach out and tap the table because he wanted another card. And as we're laughing at that, the horse goes down and grabs a mouthful of chips. All of a sudden, Mr. Gahn puts the beer down, sticks his hand in his mouth, pulls the chips out, but everyone walked away unscathed. So the Super Bowl Hitch here, on their way to go to the Super Bowl, so they stayed a couple days. So the horse came in, we brought him in the sports book, and we made a bet, and he had to bet on the Broncos. So we had a real ticket, and I had a peppermint in my hand, and that you put the ticket, and he went down to get the peppermint, and he took the ticket right in his mouth. So that was awesome. For those of you that have been to the South Point, and you've seen the iconic Benny Binion statue, that's the biggest horse of the hitch. And he'd never seen a horse bigger than him. And they go nose to nose, and there's a little bit of static electricity, and it kind of just shocked him, spooked him a little bit. I thought we were going to get in a wreck, but it's a real honor, pleasure. Those guys are so great to work with, and allowing us to share these creatures with some of our customers is one of the highlights since I've been here.
You know this sounds crazy, right? You're bringing Clydesdales into the hotel and casino.
Most places probably wouldn't go as far as we do on some things.
I mean, what were the guests? Were they just...
They go insane. I mean, they go insane. And because we don't announce it, but all of a sudden, like, the word gets out. And sometimes when we do things, it is announced, it's prearranged. But a lot of times we just say, all right, cue the horse. Everything we do, even though some people might think we're crazy, we take all precautions. Animal welfare at the South Point is paramount. And then, of course, customer safety is paramount. So we do take all the precautions. We have the most professional staff in the world here when it comes to horses or bulls or calves or steers. We actually have a camel today at the Miss Rodeo America fashion show, but Miss Rodeo America is riding a camel into the ballroom at the Miss Rodeo America fashion show in about 45 minutes. So,
I mean, do you guys just sit around and think of the craziest things you could do?
Sometimes. Usually it's over a cocktail.
Well, speaking of that, I feel like you have more stories for us elsewhere, and I think we need to hear them.
All right, let's share them.
Okay, we're in a different part of the hotel and casino. Another crazy story I know you have for us. Tell me about it.
This one was a little bit more outlandish than the Clydesdales, but so we do a lot of stuff with the PBR here at the South Point. Great partners of ours. We love all those guys. In our equestrian center, we do backseat buckers. We do the ABBI. We do Derby Bulls. We do Mini Bulls. But we also do the Heroes and Legends Award, which is the Hall of Fame version for the PBR. They do the Sharon Shoulders Award for a woman that has contributed to the sport of PBR. They do the Jim Shoulders Award, which is kind of like a Lifetime Achievement Award, which our owner, Michael Gahn, has received. They do the Ring of Honor, which is a bull rider being inducted, and then they enshrine a bull, and the bull gets the brand of honor. They do a great job with the marketing of this program. And Casey Duggan called and said, Bushwhacker got the brand of honor this year. I go, oh, that's all. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I mean, maybe the greatest bull that ever did it. And he goes, let me run something by you. I'd really like the bull to be on stage. Are you Casey, you've been back there. I said, I got a couple $1 million in equipment back there, that TV screen alone on the back wall. I mean, what in the hell? And I go, I'll tell you what, I'll call you back. So I call my man Joe Baumgartner, greatest bullfighter to ever do it. A lot of years. He works here now in our arena. He's my director of cowboy stuff. And I said, Joe, I need you in the showroom. You got a minute? He says, yeah. So I bring him here, and outside that door is a road. And I said, what would you say if I said I need to get Bushwhacker from that door to this stage? And Joe looks around and he goes, piece of cake. I go, seriously? He goes, yeah, absolutely, no problem.
Treat it like an alleyway or what?
We took the panels and we just ran these panels along this hallway, turned them around the corner. No one, just Joe and I were on this side of the building, no employees, no anybody. It's a pretty wide, straight shot, so that's not so bad. But then we get a little bit closer to the equipment where things get a little bit suspect. But Bushwhacker, he'd been it. We had Bushwhacker at our pool one time. It was a Bushwhacker pool party. But then we had to make this pretty tight turn, and then you got to go by all this stuff, and then you make another pretty tight turn here, and then the lane ran into a 10 by 10 pin right here in the middle of the stage. And so you got Leah and Craig Hummer at the podiums. This red curtain was closed, and at the end of it, Craig Hummer says, and here to accept the Brand of Honor Award for 3-time world champion Bushwhacker is Bushwhacker. And this curtain opens up and they play this ominous music, and he's standing there and he turns around and he's just looking at the crowd like, what the hell just happened?
I don't know if I'd want to be on stage or in a seat.
Not in the front row, probably. But he handled it like a champion. I mean, he'd been around so much. We've had him out at the racetrack for the South Point 400. Like I said, we had him at the pool. He's very well mannered. But this one was something a little bit different. But crowd went wild. It went off without a hitch. JB Mooney spoke. Julio Moreno spoke. And then JB and Julio come up to take a photo. And Bushwhacker was kind of standing here. And those two guys are standing there. And he just walks up right next to him, looking at the crowd. Photo, close the curtain, open the gate, get him out of here.
Just ran him back out.
And he just went back out, got on the trailer, and we drove him out back. Yeah, it was awesome.
Bushwhacker on this stage for everyone to recognize.
Yes, ma'am.
Aside from Bushwhacker being on this stage, I know there's tons of cowboys who have crossed on here. So many great musical talent, artists, you name it. But you kind of have another great story of a president that's been up here.
Donald Trump was here twice for a rally. And the first time he was here, it'll be like 700 people. So we do it in the ballroom. 5,000 people show up. And this was before it was kind of, in the beginning, it's like, is he really going to do this? Is this for real? 5,000 people showed up on a Tuesday. We're overrun. People are going absolutely bananas. I'm like, we cannot do this again unless we have the arena. We have the arena. So now we do another rally at the arena. I don't know, 7,500 people show up, and then he wins the presidency. So the relationship was here. He came out with those tax cuts, and he wanted to have a business roundtable on what businesses are doing, how the tax cuts benefited the businesses as well as the employees. And my owner took the benefit of the tax cuts and just gave it to his employees. So we brought in a bunch of business leaders, had them on stage. I spent 7 days with the Secret Service. I saw corners of this building I didn't know existed. There's rooms up here. There's secret passages I had no idea about. The elevator, it only goes 1 floor. We had to add a cellular booster in case he got stuck in there so he would be in complete communication with the world. Just the logistics of and their travel schedule and how they have to do this all over the country, absolutely amazing. And he was so gracious and so, cordial and kind. And all my employees, how are you doing? Shake his hand. We came out, we did an hour roundtable discussion out here. It was like the power of the office that just travels in this motorcade. It was really something special to be a part of, and another good story for the South Point showroom.
Yeah, the variety of stories, from one side of the spectrum to the other. And I know I mentioned they're wild, they're crazy, but they're memorable. You've got a lot of memorabilia. And so I think we should head back to your office so we can see all these pictures, some of the video clips that you have. You can go on for days with these stories.
Let's do it.
All right.
So many experiences, especially at this building, but the contribution of the Western way of life is what we are really all about. It's so near and dear to Michael Gaughan's heart, but it's so near and dear to my heart. And I never had any idea it was going to happen. I mean, this is me. I'm probably 17 years old on a ranch in Joseph, Oregon. And then I ended up going to Georgetown University as manager of the basketball team, Washington, D.C. Graduated college, and I got in the casino business. And then 2010, I had the opportunity to come back to the South Point. Mr. Gaughan had built the equestrian center, premier equestrian facility in the country. I mean, we've turned ourselves into Vegas Cowboy Central because it is a year-round commitment. We're country all year long. And some of the things that Michael Gaughan lets us do wouldn't happen at a lot of other properties. Well, here, this used to be my Georgetown diploma, and Derek Begay, I wasn't here, and he took the diploma down. I don't know where he put it, but he put up a picture of him riding a buffalo. This is RG, How the West Was Won. Big partnership with the PBR we talked about. This is Bull Alcatraz. The picture doesn't do it justice, but this past year, we had 800 bulls individually pinned. And we call it Bull Alcatraz because they're in cell blocks. And at the end of every cell block, they have a 20 by 10 exercise yard that all the bulls get to come out. Again, animal safety, keep them legged up. They get in the dirt, root around. There's a mash unit if any animal needs to be tended to. And then similar to the Bushwhacker story, Las Vegas Events called and says, hey, we want to put a horse coming out of an elevator. It's NFR time. You'll never know what you might see. So, all right, no problem. 3 in the morning, we come in. This is a real picture. The only difference is there were mats here for the safety of the horse. And one of my dearest friends in the world to this day, going to the rodeo with him tonight. But the best part is he's in there. He's not on the horse. He's in there behind the door, and he's just holding the reins of this horse. Whoa, whoa, click, 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 click. And the photographer goes, all right, I got it. And he goes, all right. And he jumps on the horse in the elevator and rides it out of the building. And the photographer goes, whoa, whoa, I didn't know that was an option. Can you do that again? He goes, well, hell yeah. And he turns around, he backs him into the box. You can see his shirt's untucked. He's got his damn slippers on. And so he backs in the box, goes, hold on a second, drops a couple coils and goes, all right, I'm ready. And he rides that son gun out of the elevator and turned into just a fantastic shot. And then you got him looking at me 20 years later. I'm so fortunate to be involved in this world, and the friends that I've made across all the organizations, whether it's cutting or reining or roping, the PRCA, the AQHA, and one of our dear partners that I've become so close with is Resistol. And never in a million years. I mean, I can ride a horse and I can rope a little bit, but not many things happen in this building that I don't know about. And I go to the Resistol Rookie of the Year luncheon, and after all of this, since I was 15 years old doing this stuff, and I asked Devin Markham, I said, hey, who's the Resistol Man of the Year this year? He says, I don't know. Lied to me. And I said, all right. We're just not paying any attention. Ricky Boland gets up and says, and this year's Resistol Man of the Year is Ryan Growney. I got choked up. We do this because we love it. It's a labor of love. It's not a job. To get that kind of award, if you look at the list of individuals down the line that have received it, I have a lot of buckles here. I mean, there's buckles and buckles and buckles and buckles, but this buckle right here, Resistol Man of the Year buckle, will be the only one I ever wear because I do think it reflects all of this. And means so much to me, meant so much to Michael Gaughan when he received the award, and it's truly an honor of a lifetime. And we're going to keep rolling. We're still going to keep doing. Every year we try to make things a little bit bigger, a little bit better, make sure those contributions to the Western way of life are still happening. And right now, I'll tell you what, it's as alive and as strong as it's ever been, and I look forward to seeing what the future has to hold.
All the joy of knowing you don't have a meeting for 48 hours. All the edge of your seat moments and bated breaths. All the anticipation of what the night might hold. All the more reason that just walking through our doors feels like you've already won.
For nearly 100 years, Resistol has crafted more than hats. They've shaped a legacy. From father to son, mother to daughter, these cowboy hats carry something deeper. A legacy built on hard work, trust, and knowing what really matters. Every Resistol hat carries forward what generations have known. The value of integrity, the strength of family, and the wisdom that comes from working this land. Because a true cowboy hat isn't just worn, it's earned.
Wow, I mean, this place, like, where are we? This is massive.
Well, you are in the main arena here of the South Point Arena and Equestrian Center complex. You are part here of about 500,000 or 600,000 square feet as part of our complex. We have our main arena here. We have the Preferred Pavilion, which is 2 more arenas next door. We have a 100,000 square foot exhibit hall. And you are actually standing, Kirby, on top of 1,200 horse stalls that are underground, climate controlled, right below us. We have another probably 70 acres outdoors just for horse trader parking.
So we have several arenas going on. Obviously, we have all the stalls below us, and then we have all the space for vendors or anything else that you need to put in this building.
We have everything we need. And as big as the complex is, we try to make it feel a little more intimate, you know? And I think that's part of the charm of our venue too, is that as big as it is, it doesn't feel that way.
Was that the vision from the get-go?
I think that was Mr. and Mrs. Gaughan's vision, because we don't want people that are out here to be too far from the casino.
Yeah, okay, good one. We got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The man who needs no introduction, the owner of the South Point Hotel and Casino. Let's hear from Michael Gaughan.
I was born in Omaha in 1943. I got to Las Vegas in 1944 because my dad was stationed in the Army Air Corps at Nellis. Or it wasn't Nellis then, it was the Las Vegas Air Base then. My grandparents and my aunt and uncle on my mother's side moved to Las Vegas in about 1950, and I was here the summer of 50 and 51. I'm a third generation gambler, and she wanted them out of Las Vegas, and some of my grandfather's partners were in the Flamingo Hotel, and they came out in November of 1951. There was one Catholic grade school downtown, St. Joseph's, run by Dominican nuns. They could not get another desk in the classroom, and my grandmother would not let me move to Las Vegas. I got here in June of 52. I come from a gambling family. My grandfather, my father, I was very close to many. The Binions and the Gaughan kids all went to school together. I spent every summer from the age of 14 and until I got my undergraduate degree, I worked in casinos, hotels. I built the Barbary Coast, Gold Coast, Orleans, Sun Coast, and the South Coast, which later became the South Point. I saved a lot of money. I went from South Coast to South Point. I had to change about 3 letters. I merged with Boyd Gaming around 2003, 2004. I lasted about 2 years in the corporate structure. I split from Boyd, and I took this hotel back. We had a nice arena at the Orleans. We tried a few horse events over there. The arena was too nice for the horses, and it did not do well. This arena here was primarily built for horse events. We do 43 weeks a year and 40 are equestrian events. The Western style just came with the arena. I rode horses and motorcycles all over this valley when I was a kid, and they're now building homes and houses that I never got up to on the side of the mountain. The main thing about the rodeo is that what people forget, the rodeo is probably the biggest event that Las Vegas has ever had, as far as what it has done for the town. It's bigger than Super Bowl. It's bigger than Formula One. It's bigger than anything else we get. In 1984. From Thanksgiving to Christmas, the town was dead. It was a ghost town. There were no shows in town. Showrooms were closed. And Benny Binion, I kept saying about bringing the rodeo to town. And Benny started working on it in about 82. People say that I'm one of the people that brought the rodeo. I let him use my airplane before I let him. I think they made 3-4 trips. The head of Las Vegas events, some of the members, Bob Maxey, Herb McDonald, the mayor at the time. It was a 7-6 vote by the PRCA to take it out of Oklahoma City and bring it here. The rodeo started in Dallas for 3 years, did not do well. Went to LA, I think, for 2 years and bombed. And then went to Oklahoma City and did well. The first year the rodeo was here, it did fairly well. From the third year on, It's been a sellout for over 37 straight years. My wife drugged me to the first performance, and I got there halfway through the barebacks. And I'd been to rodeos as a kid in Omaha and in Nebraska. I've been to rodeos, and they were fun. But I was, because the rodeos got to where you saw maybe one or two or three good rides. You saw the monkey riding the dog. But my wife made me go to the first rodeo in 1985, and I came back the next night, the second and third night, and I said I got to meet the guy that runs this rodeo, which is a fellow named Sean Davis. There was a fellow named John Giovinco, and he said to me, I don't know what the rodeo does. I said, the rodeo doesn't do anything for the Hilton. I said, John, I said, tell you what, at the end of the rodeo this year, I want you to go back to 80, I said 87, 86, 85, and look at the numbers and compare them to 83 and 84. And about the middle of January, he called me back and said, wow. Yeah. Probably the five people that made Las Vegas what it is today would be Ben Siegel, Benny Binion, a fellow named Perry Thomas, who was a banker, probably Kikorian, and Steve Wynn. Benny turned the town into more of a gambling town. The town today, there's no more. There's very few individual owners left. So, but the problem is a lot of people do not remember what it was like before the rodeo. And rodeo was probably the single biggest thing that they should build a statue of Benny. I got a statue of him in there.
I was going to say, I feel like I've seen that.
That was done for Benny's 80th birthday down in Fort Worth at the Billy Bob's. He went bankrupt, and they moved the statue from Fort Worth back to put behind the horseshoe, the old horseshoe downtown. I bought it from a fellow named Terry Cobble, who owns Binions now. And I didn't know Terry, and I asked Jack one night. I said, Jack, I met Terry Cobble. I said, see what he wants for the horse. And they had the horse behind the hotel, caddy corner in front of their parking garage, with covered in bird poop, baked on. See what he'll sell it to me for. And he came back and said he'll sell it to you for $1 if I clean up the area, and he'll sell it to me for $1. And if you go down to Terry Cobble's office, he has my dollar bill framed with a thank you. And I had called Deborah Copenhagen, who'd done the statue, and I said I had acquired the statue. It's pretty dirty. It's pretty dirty. And she says, Mr. Gahn, there's two things I'll tell you. Use kind of a Dove soap and oatmeal, and steel cut oatmeal, and just keep going over it. And don't tilt it because it's on three hooves. They worked on it for over a week, about 8 hours a day, just kept going over it and over and over it. Where the Asian restaurant is, we actually cut a hole in the wall, take down the restroom signs, the buffet sign, the oyster bar sign, the cashier's sign, and bring it in on rollers, like the Trojan horse. It took all day. It weighs about 3,000 pounds. And my architect said, you can't put it on the floor. You got to put a column under it. Occasionally in life, you get lucky. It sits dead over a column in the basement and fits square in the atrium that was already there. Today, if I want to get the statue, cannot get out of here today unless I cut the statue, because there's no way to get it out. So Benny and I will die here.
I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Resistol's Beneath the Brim, presented by Choctaw Casino. We'll catch you next time.